Oh yeah, Triage! It's time to talk Tiefling. Tiefling, if you want to make it sound worse. Tiefling being, of course, the worst name anything ever in the history of names has been given. I'm from the pits of... I'm a Tiefling! Man, somebody's mama need to get slapped for that name. Boom! That's absolutely ridiculous. It's just a terrible name. Alright, let's talk about the history of these terribly named Terras. AD&D 2nd Edition Planescape. We see them appear, and what a Tiefling is in that edition is just the mongrel man of the plains. He is, or she, I suppose we should really say. After all, the drawing was a very attractive, strange-looking nymph-like female with a haircut that looked like she was out of a Cure video. Now, it's a great drawing to him. They had some wonderful artwork in Planescape. Part of the big appeal of that setting. And you had this as a playable race, so it's like, ooh, I can play this. This is something new, something different. Okay, that's great. And it was just a catch-all. They didn't have time to make 19 different variants right there. Didn't have a thought to that. Just, oh, we got this deal, slide it in there. And that is kicked forward, and then that version, I believe they do have a penalty to Charisma, and you see that kicked forward into 3.5, where the Tiefling still has a penalty to Charisma, and it's said to be from the darkness. So Tiefling is redefined a bit. These are from, I guess they like to call them the denizens of the lower planes. So, the big two are Tieflings and SMRs. Now, the SMR is of the Celestial Realm stock. Now, I mean, quite honestly, I think right off the bat, let's address your big problems right here. And let me say this again, I love Plane Touch. I love the idea of it. This is a great idea. It's just executed very poorly. Now, when we look at the Tiefling, we see devils, the night hags, daemons. Don't get me started on why those are neutral evil. Demons. So a demon and a devil, which have nothing in common. They're completely different things. Completely different. Devil is an angel. A demon is a horrendous embodiment of primordial annihilation and entropy. Okay. Asimars, the devil bloodline should be an Asimar, or they could be part of the same thing. But here's the thing, though: the prodigy of a devil and the prodigy of a demon just would be completely different. And I think that's a huge failing right there, right off the bat. Now, again, you look at a penalty to Charisma. It's difficult to suggest that a devil would have a penalty to Charisma. I go, well, they have social problems or whatever. Well, yeah, okay, I could get that. But that doesn't mean they're going to have a penalty to Charisma. In fact, that bonus to Charisma, devils are known for their silver tongues. You ever hear about a devil that couldn't charm people with the way it talked and get people on board, I mean, devils are rock and roll. And rock and roll is sexy, and sexy is charisma. Now, children have a penalty to charisma. That just it does not compute up here. Like the explanation is far too flimsy to me. I just don't buy it. Like, which when I don't buy something, it makes it very difficult for me to integrate it to use it. I think the fact that they gave them darkness was a horribly dumb idea, because they kind of forced them up into the ECL bracket. ECL bracketing things is bad. You don't want to ECL on something. You don't want to get penalized a level. Nobody likes that. It's particularly when it's just one. Because it's like, well, couldn't you just dumb this down a little bit to just let me, play it as a normal deal? And the answer is, of course, yes. So, when I was originally going to make Within the Ring of Fire a D20 property before, I just had to concede that, yes, the D20 engine cannot power immersive style of play, the immersive level that I want play to be at, the pure immersiveness. And I had to rip all that out. But when I done that, I'd completely fixed all that. I mean, that was like one of the out the gate things. And from distilling what I did there and kicking that forward, this is only one Ring of Fire we handle very well. The aspects of spiritual entities being infused into fleshly forms and the descendants of these entities, what they have, and how that continues to stack up. So you don't really have that Asimar celestial or Asimar half celestial kind of divide. It can all kind of be there in a slide downward, which is very reminiscent of the sort of way that you have these heroes who are just here and then slowly start becoming and gaining those deific powers, those sons of Zeus that rose to great might, but started off just as normal people. So that's the kind of idea that they should have had. They should have been buildable. They weren't, and that really messed them up. And then a lot of things they chose, it was like, really, they need that instead of, like, you could just add other things and actually make them seem demonic, make them seem infernal, make them seem eldritch and strange, hoary. Of course, they didn't pick the best ways to deliver a tiefling. And we can go into some of the other areas. Now, one of the other big problems is, while there were some of these, okay, this is an infernal dwarf and that's an infernal elf, what have you, they didn't do anywhere near enough of that. And a lot of those things had even higher ECLs, which means the higher your ECL was, the less playable you became. Tieflings, in all honesty, should not be tied directly to humans. It's like, you could have an infernal tiefling, or you could have an infernal elf, you could have a demonic dwarf, you could have all these things. So it should be more easily integratable onto the creatures. They did a very poor job of that too, and they kicked up to 4th edition. Again, they're just humans with horns and stuff like that. And quite honestly, they definitely seem to take on more of a World of Warcraft appearance in 4th edition to really sort of take that in, which a lot of times I think the Tieflings weren't that well rendered there in terms of, I don't know, they looked too soft. They should be fairly well terrifying, shouldn't they? If you have the blood of these terrible things in you that actually make people disquiet, and you just kind of, I don't know. Some of the art choices there weren't quite to my liking. Overall, the biggest problem again is you're trying to make an umbrella for things that just can't be put under the same umbrella. If you're going to say Tiefling is every plain touch creature, okay, that's fine. But as soon as you start dividing things out, to me, Devil and Demon could never be put in the same category. They are completely different. Devil is like a subcategory of Angel, and Demon is something completely different. Maybe you could say Daemon and Demon could be in the same category. And again, I'm not going to get into a whole mythological explanation here, but even mythologically, in speaking through the terms of Dungeons and Dragons, a Daemon and a Demon are far more similar than a Devil, which is nothing like either one of them. A Devil is an angel. That's plain and simple what it was. You can find a good amount of support material for that, even within D&D. And of course, if you're looking at it from a standpoint religiously, of course, supporting that idea is very, very easy. So overall, I really like the idea of Tiefling, but I disdain the execution. The execution is, to me, so poor that it makes them difficult. I think I played Tiefling once, and that was in 4th edition. The one time I played one session of 4th edition, and I played a Tiefling. I saw there in the base book. I went, oh wow, cool! I'll play a Tiefling, and I did. And yeah, that's all I played him. I've seen him played a lot of times. Well, actually, I don't think I've seen an Asimar played very well, but it was just a good player, I've seen it. I don't think I've ever seen a Tiefling played very well, quite honestly. I do have a very interesting idea for a Tiefling Paladin, though, and maybe we'll talk about that in a video for Paladin.